Let's speak to Sianed Williams, who's a member of the Senedd for South Wales West and is a Plaid Cymru MS. Welcome to the programme. Nice to speak to you.
Hi, Gareth. Thank you.
And congrats. It's a long time since the vote, but it's that time of year when we get to speak to people for the first time since they were elected. So congratulations belatedly.
Thank you.
Where do you stand as an individual MS and as a party on this one?
Well, as an individual MS and as a party and as a resident of Alltwen, where one of the schools that's been earmarked for closure, I'm completely against these proposals. I've got a little bit of breaking news for you. There's a lot of things wrong with these proposals, and I can tell you all about those. One of the things that we thought was wrong about them was that the impact on the Welsh language hadn't properly been looked at. So the Swansea Valley is a sensitive linguistic area as regards to the Welsh language, and these plans we argued would have a negative effect on that. I challenged the Minister for Education and the Welsh Language, Jeremy Miles, on that in the Chamber this afternoon, and he announced, nobody was expecting it, that the Welsh Government have called on Nghwm Tawe now to delay the process, and that government officials will be having talks about this with Nghwm Tawe next week. So that's one way that we've been able to halt these plans. But as I said, there's a lot of things that now need to be looked at these plans. As you've said about the amount of objection to these proposals, a lot of these things now need to be looked at. So hopefully this is one way we've been able to halt it. But I also support the objections of many of the parents of the 3 community schools that were earmarked for closure against the appropriateness of this super school in Pontardawe.
Well, breaking news is not a bad debut on the programme. So well done, Sianed Williams. Look, are you hopeful then that means, I'm not 100% clear what that means. Is the Welsh Government calling that in to look at the plans, or is it just sort of leaning on Nghwm Tawe Council?
It isn't completely clear, and the way that things work in the Chamber, I wasn't able to ask for clarification. I will be writing now to the Minister to get clarification on that, but that's what he said on the record, was that the process was going to be, I'm trying to think of the word, trying to be halted until next week when officials will discuss this impact with Nghwm Tawe officers. But I'm as I say, I've been against these plans from the beginning. This is just one aspect of them. I share the regards of local residents with regards of the impact of traffic congestion. We've heard a lot of, as you say, I'm newly elected. We've heard a lot from this new government about clean air, about getting people out of cars, about active travel. But these plans will do nothing for that. And I'm also very concerned. For me, one of the most detrimental effects of the proposals are on economically deprived families. I think it's one of its most serious flaws, not properly addressed in the consultation report, because there are going to be children who will absolutely now not be able to walk to their school, pupils from gohirio'r and some from Llanguwch as well. So I just think that there are a lot of things wrong with these plans that need addressing.
Yeah, gohirio'r definitely not within walking distance. Look, I take on board everything you're saying, but as in any decision of this nature, it is weighing up and balancing the options in front of you. Look, lots of people will be listening to this whose kids are in schools that quite frankly could really do with a lick of paint, or perhaps the walls being rebuilt or the roof retiled in some cases. They're talking here about a brand spanking new school for the Swansea Valley. A lot of people would kill for that, and perhaps that is just something that you need to accept to get a better place for the kids to be educated.
Well, I think the response to the consultation showed that isn't what parents want, and that's not what the communities want. There's nothing wrong with using funding under the 21st century school schemes to do that patch and mend. And actually, that was what was used further up the valley in Ysgol Gyfynest, which was falling to pieces and hadn't been invested in for years. It was a renovation job there. So there's nothing wrong with using money to do a bit of a lick of paint. But these are schools which are not falling down. These are successful, viable schools. Estin say that they are good schools. They have a tremendous contribution to their communities.
Well, gohirio'r's temporarily closed at the moment, isn't it, because of the coal tip, which is a slightly different issue. That does need sorting.
Yes, but it's the report now on the coal tip has said that it's safe for residents to live there on that road. Well, I would argue if it's safe for residents to live there on that road, if the council is saying that and the report is saying that, then obviously it's safe for the school to open. I would be the first to obviously make sure that our pupils would be absolutely safe in any buildings. But as you probably know, there's a bit of a backstory here as well. There was a recording leaked of the former leader of Nghwm Tawe Council, Rob Jones, where he seemed to be suggesting that he was all in favour of super schools all through the valley. And so there's been a lack of trust here. There's a lack of trust with the reasons behind the closure for gohirio'r School and the transparency of the consultation. So I called for a public inquiry into the circumstances around gohirio'r School, and I have also called for this consultation to be halted, the whole process to be halted, and for the whole issue of looking at solutions for any problems or issues with education in the Swansea Valley to be looked at in partnership with the communities and the communities of those three schools.
Look, we'll see what happens now, given what Jeremy Miles, the Education Minister, has told you in the Senedd today. Nice to speak to you, thank you. That's Sioned Williams, who's MS for South Wales West, representing Plaid Cymru.